Morning folks. I wasn't going to do one this morning, but got this a bit of time. I'll do a simple sort of tree study. First thing is to wet this piece of Saunders Waterford cold pressed. Lovely paper. This one is sort of pure white. The £90 that I mostly use is it's got a yellow tinge to it, but my friend Dennis, he sent me a pack of Saunders Waterford £200, which is this, and Bockingford £200, loads and loads of watercolours. So I'm just starting to use it up. So now this will still expand when you wet it. Obviously it will, because you're wetting one side, it will alter the tension in the paper. But you can stretch it out again. So let's put a bit of sky in. So I'm only going to use 3 brushes. The rigger. Trouble is, when you go and choose a rigger, you often want one with a point. But these come to a chisel end. It'd be a good idea if they had a jar of water where you can dip a brush in and see what it's like when it's minus the bit of glue they stick around it to keep it nice and tidy. And you can just see if it comes to a point or not. The large Ron Ranson hake and the medium Ron Ranson hake. Lovely brushes, colours, usual palette, cadmium yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and burnt sienna. Okay, so let's get a bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of red as well. Let's just go for it. This is half a sheet. I didn't want to. I'm using this wonderful paper, which is quite expensive, sparingly. So let's get a bit of blue. That's an artist quality blue. Put a bit of water in the foreground here. Let's give it a stretch. That's why I don't like to lock my paper into masking tape around the edges. You don't need to. If you lock it in, you know, put masking tape all the way around, it will shrink, but it will expand somewhat while you're painting on the wet paper. And I always wet my papers. Right, a bit of red to that, and we'll have a bit of cloud. So just a bit of cloud just scudding across the sky there. Okay. That's all I'm going to do on that. So we want to dry it. If I wasn't demonstrating, I might leave the paper to dry of its own accord, but demonstrating, I'm going to crack on with it. And it also fixes the paint. Right, that's similar to the sky I can see outside my loft window. Let's get that. I haven't dried the top too much, so this is what I want to dry. Right, let's do a bit of a field, so we'll move the clips down a bit. Well, I was going to put water down there, but yeah, okay. Let's put some. We want to put some background to this. Put a bit of sienna in here. Okay, so we've justified that water. We can put some trees in here. Right, I'll dry that and then we'll start putting some trees in. I don't think this paper will take any lifting out with a card, but that doesn't really matter. Let's get some blue trees on the background and bluish. Payne's grey with the ultramarine, that gives a good call. Try to make the trees, each one a bit different than the other one, otherwise you're just repeating and it's not, you don't want repetition. So, slightly different sizes. Okay, so that's a background there. You don't have to paint the water. You can if you want. I might put a bit of dry brush over there to show the water as wind ruffled. It's easier to do than hit and missing with a bit of dry brush. I'm not one for doing great detail. I don't do boats and portraits of boats, or you know, I really love landscape. Not what people do in it. So we watch all the lovely documentaries on the coast of Britain, which is wonderful. And yesterday we watched one on Suffolk, or no Suffolk. We've got relatives there. My stepfather was born there, Felixstowe, but it was mainly around Southwold and Walberswick and Dunwich, where the original town is under probably about 60 feet of water now, seawater. Okay. The coast is it was sand, it's mostly sand dunes, and buildings are built on the sand dunes inland, but eventually the sea destroys the cliffs, and then it moves back and then houses fall into the sea. bit risky. Right, let's do something up here. This now, bit of blue. Let's have a bit of panes, bit of yellow, bit of blue yellow. Okay, let's just put something here. Bit too much water on there. So I'm using a green because that warms up the alright, we can put a bit of Payne's grey in there with a bit of burnt sienna. Okay, now I've sort of repeated myself there, but right, let's just put a little bit of green around the base of that. Okay, so very simple painting. We need a bit on that coast now, so we have a bit of burnt sienna and a bit of blue. Okay, well let's put in a bit of foreground now. I'll risk a bit of dry brush. I tend to use the medium hake as much or more than the large hake. But I'm working on this size paper, it's ideal. Right, let's yeah, you can make burnt umber by mixing a bit of Payne's grey with the burnt sienna. But I've got burnt umber there, but I don't really use it. Okay, and we can put a bit of texture into that. So let's just get a bit of burnt sienna, a bit of Payne's. Okay, well that's right, well that's a very, very simple painting there. We have to remember that there are lots of beginners, especially in the lockdown, that are looking for something to occupy them and make the days more bearable. Not going out really. So that's quite a warm grey, but you can see that mixing Payne's grey with burnt sienna gives you a burnt umber. You don't need the burnt umber. Right, I'll give that a dry, then I can put a bit of gouache in here to show some sails. Just a little bit of detail on that horizon, just make it a bit interesting. Where's my hairdryer? put a bit of sea cabbage in there just to get a nice colour. Paint. A quick shortcut to greens is Payne's grey and yellow. Sea cabbage or whatever. Right, okay, now I haven't got any good gouache. I keep meaning to buy some, but I never get round to it. So I use a touch of acrylic, just a tiny bit out. Oh dear, it's a lovely day in London. It's a bit cold, but it's already March. But those clouds are going across the sky. I don't like lifting out, but if you want to lift out your clouds with a bit of tissue, nothing wrong with it. A lot of artists do it. I used to do it, but I don't now. Okay, so let's just put in a I know nothing about boats. I get seasick on a mill pond, and I'm sort of a landlocked city dweller. Okay, well that'll do. We can put out just a little bit of a. Right, I'll give it a signature. I'll do that in white. I'll put a couple of birds in. Now when you use a bit of acrylic, make sure your brush is clean because it will dry very quickly and you've lost your brush. Oh. Okay, we'll put that in the mount and we'll have a look. There's one for Sunday morning. Well, there we are, a very simple watercolour. I hope you like that one. I hope it helps you if you're a beginner or just thinking about starting out. It's easier to wet the paper all over. My pal Alan Owen, he doesn't bother, he works very fast anyway. But we're using the £90 paper, which is wonderful. The Saunders Waterford or Winsor & Newton cold pressed or rough. £90 blocks of watercolour paper, 20 sheets in a block. It's well worth the effort or the expense. And by wetting the paper, you get this lovely diffusing of the colour. It just sort of spreads. You can make it go in different directions by tilting the board. I always bother about that. But yeah, if you've got any questions, ask them on my YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Goodbye.